Welcome back, artists. Now that I have drawn my tree on the black paper, it is time to cut out. I did something to help me remember what I need to save and what I don't need to save, and I encourage you to do that too. I put X's in the areas that I do not want to keep. The tree or the streets and the sidewalks, that is the part that we're going to save. So I encourage you to start with the smaller shapes first. If I cut on the bigger shapes here, then it gets a little bit harder to cut the smaller shapes once you get to them. So I would start on the outside top edges, and I have an X here. As I like to cut, I'm gonna leave the line in this case, especially because some of my branches are thin, so I don't wanna be cutting and making those branches even smaller. They might accidentally cut off. So I'm leaving the line, and I like to cut to the corner, and then I turn and go to the other side, and I cut to the corner again. And then when I meet up, I have to cut just a little bit further, I can take the inside out. So again, I cut to the corner, turn, and cut to the other corner. So before I do this bigger shape here, I'm gonna do these smaller shapes here. The more paper I have to hold on to, the more control I have of that paper when I'm cutting. Also notice that I'm holding the big paper and not holding the small part of the paper. And I'm just slowly going around my shapes. Now here, this is a small shape here, but it's part of a bigger space. I'm going to just cut and pretend that that branch goes all the way down, and I'll leave that bigger spot for later. And I just continue going all the way around. Now that I have my whole tree cut out, if I wanted to, I could cut some small V's out of the bottom of the trunk to show sort of the roots. I can draw those first, or I can just cut freehand. So I want this to look like a root, and then I'm gonna bring one over a little bit more and up. Maybe this one's a little bit wider. And just by putting two little cuts in there, it makes the trunk look a little bit more interesting to look at.